Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can tell, we are starting a new gaming series. I've been a little tired of Animal Crossing recently, but don't worry, we will come back to it one day. But for now, we are playing Stardew Valley. I love this game so much, and I think y'all will too, so let's just get right into it. The first thing you start doing is character customization, so I immediately started making my cutesy little character.
A few moments later.
Here's my little character, and I decided to name my farm Willow Farm because I just thought it was super whimsical. And then my favorite thing is my wife, of course. Then for my animal preference, I decided to go with the black cat because I have one in real life, and he's just too cute. After that, you get to choose your own farm layout, and I decided to go with the forest farm because I think it gives you a lot of wood and it's really pretty. So, without further ado, let's start playing Stardew Valley. Now, this game unfortunately starts out pretty depressing. My very sick grandfather, on his very sad deathbed, decided to give me a sealed envelope. He tells me to wait to open it and that one day I will feel crushed by the burden of modern life. And when that day comes, my bright spirit will fade before a growing emptiness. Wow, are you okay, Grandpa? Oh, he's twitching! He says when that happens, I'll be ready for his gift. A few years later, I start working for the Joja company, and it looks like a very sad office job where all we do is work, get terminated, get weird looks from this weird lip-licking cowboy, and apparently we also die. Putting all of those pieces together, I decided that maybe this job isn't for me. Then I remembered I had my grandfather's sealed envelope conveniently placed in my work desk. I decided to open it. Inside of it, Grandfather explains that he was in a dire need of change, so he moved to a place called Stardew Valley. He enclosed the deed to his place, Willow Farm, and decided to gift it to me. So now, trying to honor the family name, I decided to pack my bags and move straight to Stardew Valley. After getting off the bus that concerningly smelt like alcohol, I was greeted by Robin, the local carpenter. She explains that Mayor Lewis sent her there to show me the way to my new home. So off we went to see my grandfather's beautiful farm? It's a huge mess. How am I supposed to start a farm on this land? Sure, it's a bit overgrown, but there's some good soil underneath that mess. With a little dedication, you'll have it cleaned up in no time. Yep, even though I came here to relax, that's completely fine. After I met Mayor Lewis, and Robin Loki insulted my grandfather's old cottage and called it crusty, it was time to start my first day in Stardew Valley. Just like any old good Stardew Valley playthrough, I always watch the TV in the morning just to know what the weather will be like tomorrow and what my fortune will be today. And unfortunately, the spirits were annoyed today, which is not very good for my first day, but that's fine. I went outside and immediately started clearing out this pesky mess so I could start my farm. And also, Mayor Lewis gifted me 15 parsnips, which is awesome. After that, I kinda got bored, so I decided to go into town to explore and meet new people. I greeted Marnie, who sells livestock and animal care products, which will come in handy later, and then I went over to Pierre's general store, and outside of the store, there's this calendar with all the birthdays and events for that month. Sometimes I forget to look at it though. I went inside the store and I met Gus, the chef and owner of the Stardrop Saloon, and I met Pierre, the owner of the general store. He had some seeds to sell, but I decided to save my money for right now, and I went snooping around his house. While I was snooping, I found his daughter Abigail in the kitchen, and then after that, I went outside and I said hello to Alex, the town jock. Then I decided to go into his house and greet his grandparents, George, who is very grumpy, and Evelyn, who is just such a sweet old lady. Outside, I met Penny, who was reading beside a tree, and I also met Leah, who was walking by. I went inside the house beside them, which I met Emily, one of my favorite characters. Then I went to their neighbor's house and I met Vincent, and I met his mom, Jody, as well, which they are both very sweet. After that, I went up to Robin's house. I met her daughter, and then I met Demetrius, her husband. And I went over to the right of their house, and this is where Linus lives. He lives out in the wilderness all alone in this tiny little tent, and I always feel so bad for him because he's such a sweet little old man. So I always try to give him a gift every time I see him, and this time I happened to have a daffodil in my inventory, so I gave it to him and he loved it. I went back home and started working on my farm so that I could start planting my parsnips. I made sure to leave little spaces for sprinklers in the future when I get the recipe for them. And then after that, I chopped down some trees and made a chest to store all of my stuff in. I also like to keep one of every item in this game just in case I need it in the future, so eventually we are going to make a storage shed for that. It was getting really dark on my farm, so I decided to place some torches around, and then after that I decided to go to bed for the night. I woke up in a great mood because the weather said that it was going to rain tomorrow, so that means I don't have to waste any energy on watering my plants. And then the spirits were also in good humor today. When I went outside, I noticed I had a letter from Willie, and he said that he got back from a fishing trip and that he had something for me down at the beach. So I immediately watered my plants and headed straight toward the beach. I'm still trying to unwind from the month out on the salty seas. It was a big haul. I sold a lot of good fish. Finally saved up enough to buy me a new rod. Here, I want you to have my old fishing rod. It's important to me that the art of fishing stays alive. And hey, maybe you'll buy something from the shop once in a while. As soon as I got my new fishing rod from Willie, I immediately began fishing. It took me a little bit, but I finally caught my first catch, a sardine. My inventory was full after that, so I decided to go back home to go empty it in my chest. But before that, I found this little worm spot on the beach, so I decided to plow at it, and I found a lost book for the library. We may have to look at that next time we visit the library. After I put all my stuff in my chest, I decided to go into town and do some foraging. I went into town and snooped in everyone's trash can, and then I looked at my quest and I noticed I haven't finished the introduction quest yet, which is where you introduce yourself to all of the villagers. So I decided to go searching for the last few villagers I haven't greeted yet. I went inside Pierre's and noticed they were doing a yoga slash working out class, and I ended up meeting Caroline, who is Pierre's wife. After that, I went outside of Pierre's to try to go find some more villagers to greet, and I ended up finding Haley, who was outside by this fountain. Then, after that, I ended up finding this grocery store where Shane worked at, and it honestly looked pretty miserable in there. There was no music playing whatsoever, and it looked pretty bland. I went outside and I noticed that it was owned by the Joja Corporation, which was the same corporation that I used to work for before I became a farmer. So, no wonder when I greeted Shane, he seemed really angry. Yeah, I would hate working for this store too. After that, I did some more exploring and I ended up finding Sam, which is also the son of Jody. I looked at the villager list and there was actually a lot more left to greet, and I knew one of them was probably going to be at the beach. So I went down there to try to look for them, but I ended up not finding them at all. But I did get a worm spot and I found an anchor from it, which I'll have to bring to the library to learn more about it. I also found this question mark which required 300 pieces of wood, so that's just something to keep in mind. After that, I couldn't find any more villagers, so I just went back to the farm and cleared out more areas and cut down a bunch of trees. It drained down a lot of my energy, so I just decided to put my things away and go to sleep for the night. I did get a level up on foraging, which was great because I got new recipes. I woke up the next day to the beautiful sounds of rain, and then I continued on with my morning ritual, and I learned that the spirits were very happy today. I went outside to the beautiful sight of watered crops, and I decided today I was going to go to the library to learn more about this anchor. When I went into town, I noticed that Pierre's is closed on Wednesdays, so that's something to keep in mind. When I got to the library, their collection was looking pretty sad, so I decided to go ahead and donate my anchor so that Gunther could further his research. And from now on, I will donate everything that needs to be donated to the library. I'll probably organize this area once I get more stuff in there, but for now I just placed it randomly. I noticed my lost books that I found were on the table. One was a book by Marnie about animals, and another was tips on farming, which will come in handy later. And Gunther ended up giving me 250 gold for donating the anchor. After that, I went to the beach and I ended up finding another anchor, which I'll probably end up selling. I did some foraging around the beach and then I decided to go fishing with my new fishing rod. I kept catching the same fish over and over again, so I decided to sell some to Willie. And after that, I decided to go home to empty my inventory. Then, after that, I got a little sidetracked, and instead of fishing, I went foraging once again. I just love exploring and foraging in this game because you will always end up with something new no matter what. And also, this game is so beautiful. I love it so much. I also found some spring onions that were planted, which these are very nice because they'll automatically place basically anywhere over here, and you can sell them, and it's basically free money. I went back up to town and I greeted Leah and Mayor Lewis, and then I went fishing in the river in front of Leah's house, or let's just say I attempted to fish. I don't know who dumped their trash in the river, but they need to be stopped immediately. I saw that Alex was standing outside, so I decided to greet him, and he said it was a good day to play catch. Even though it was pouring raining outside, I decided to say, yeah, I want to play catch, and then he changed his mind and said that his arm was sore. I went inside the Star Drop Saloon and I saw a lot of people were in there. So I went around and greeted a bunch of people. I actually ended up meeting Harvey, the town doctor, and I also met Pam, the bus driver. I had a bunch of dandelions from foraging, so I decided to give them out as gifts to a few people, and they all loved it very much. After that, I decided to go home and once again do some tree chopping and clearing of my area. I want to get animals pretty soon, so they're gonna need a pretty big area to go out and roam and eat some grass. I didn't get that much done because my energy drains so fast, but pretty soon we are going to have better energy. I went to sleep for the night and I ended up leveling up foraging, which is great. I also got 276 gold from selling all my forageables. I woke up the next morning to the spirits being displeased, and then I got a new TV channel called Livin' Off the Land, which is basically a TV channel for farmers, so that's pretty cute. I went outside and my crops looked absolutely wonderful. They were almost ready to be harvested. I got into town and I wanted to see how much the backpack expansion was, and it was only 2,000 gold, and I had 1,200, so I could probably afford it tomorrow if I can find a bunch of stuff to sell today. And you know what? I think the best way to get a bunch of money is to fish. And I know the spirits were displeased today, and I also kept fishing up trash yesterday. I still think we can hopefully get some good luck and find a few good fish here and there. So I stood by Linus and I began fishing for a while. After I caught once another piece of trash, I decided that I was done fishing for the day, so I went back home and sold some of the fish I got. I did some clearing up around the farm and I broke a rock and I found a geode from that rock. So that means I have to bring it to the blacksmith to open it, but it may be something for the library, which I'm hoping it will be. I decided to make a new chest so that I could sort my items better, and then after that, I did a bunch of foraging around the farm. I did end up finding another geode and some coal, and then I got pretty exhausted, so I decided to put my things away and go to sleep for the night. Luckily, during the night, I did level up fishing, which is great because it does get easier if you level it up. And then I made 155G. We are so close to the backpack upgrade. I'm so excited for it. And the spirits are very happy today. I went outside immediately, grabbing my geodes, so I remembered to crack them open today. I also got a letter from the evil Joja Corporation saying that they removed the landslide caused by their drilling operation. Now that means the mining caves are now reachable and available. It would have been reachable if they hadn't done this horrible construction, but you know the Joja Company. I noticed my crops were all ready to be harvested, which I was very happy about because that meant that tomorrow I could probably afford the backpack upgrade. When I got into town, I noticed that there was a quest for me on the board outside of Pierre's. For girls only. Psst. I need a Joja Cola. You know what it's for. Keep it a secret, okay? Love, Haley. I actually have no idea what that's for, Haley, but don't worry, girl. I got you. I will get that Joja Cola for you. Before I bought one, I did go rummaging in people's trash to find one. Don't tell Haley, but I'm on a budget, okay? I noticed I had a quest done for my parsnips, so I got 100G from that. So I just decided to buy her one, even though I really didn't want to buy it from this evil corporation. I didn't know where else to get it besides the trash cans, so sadly, I purchased from the Joja Mart. I'm only doing this for a friend. I will never support your company ever again. After that, I went to the blacksmith, got my geodes cut open, and I ended up donating one thing to the library. For the rest of the day, I decided to go mining, so I brought my pickaxe and something to eat, and I headed straight for the mines. When I got to the mines, there was a cutscene with this dude named Marlin, and he said there's probably good ore down there, but since it's been undisturbed for so long, there might be monsters. So, after referencing Legend of Zelda, he gave me a rusty sword. He tells me that he runs the Adventurers Guild right outside of the mines, and he tells me to prove myself to become a member. I will definitely be doing that because that sounds like a guild that I want to be in. I climbed down the ladder and started on my mining adventure. I immediately found a geode, which is crazy luck, and then I got down to level 2, found some copper, and some basic retaining soil. I mined some gorgeous amethyst, and then I made it down to level 3, where I found quartz and a whole bunch of barrels, where I found carrot seeds, a cave carrot, and some bug meat. I breezed down all the way to level 6, where there was a cave full of monsters. I slayed all of them very easily, and I made it down to the next level. I slayed some more enemies, mined down even more ores, and I eventually made it down to level 10, the checkpoint for the elevator. I looked in the chest and I ended up getting leather boots, which I put on immediately. I decided to go celebrate my victory of making it down to level 10 by going to the Stardrop Saloon. I met Sebastian on the way there and went inside to socialize with the other villagers. I ended up completing my first quest, which was to meet all the townspeople when I met Elliot, and I got a new quest to give a gift to someone, so I gave an amethyst to Emily and completed that quest. I wanted to buy something to celebrate, but I didn't want to waste my money, so I just socialized some more, and after that, I decided to go home for the night. When I got back to the farm, I planted the carrot seeds that I found from the cave, and then after that, it was getting late, so I decided to go to sleep for the night. During the night, I leveled up my farming and my mining, which both of them gave me new recipes to make. I also made 490 gold from selling my parsnips. As soon as I went outside, I was greeted by Clint, who gave me a recipe for a furnace, so now I can smelt metal bars. He also told me that I could upgrade one of my tools if I take him some copper bars, so we will definitely do that as soon as I get some bars. I looked in my mailbox and I had a letter from Robin who said that she could build a well for me, but I don't think I will need one anytime soon. And then I also got a letter from Marlin saying that if I slay 10 slimes, I'll be able to join the Adventurers Guild. I will definitely have to do that quest pretty soon because the Adventurers Guild sounds awesome. I made my new recipes, which was a scarecrow, which will help deter crows from my farm, and I made the furnace, which will help me smelt copper bars. I ended up using most of my copper to make it though, so I only got one copper bar for now. I took my geode so I could open it at Clint's, and I took my quartz to donate it to the museum, and headed straight toward the town. But before I got there, I ended up in a cutscene. The cutscene begins with Mayor Lewis sadly looking at this old building. He tells me that it used to be Pelican Town's community center, and that it used to be the pride and joy of the town, until young folks stopped engaging with the community. He then goes on to tell me that the evil Joja Corporation wants to buy it, and that if anyone else buys a Joja Co. membership, then he'll sell it to them. After he explained that, we headed inside the old community center. The inside of it looked very strange. There was a weird hut on the left corner, and everything was pretty overgrown and broken. As he was talking to me, I saw a weird looking creature behind him, but of course, it disappeared as soon as he looked. He didn't believe me, and he said he was really worried for me. Then he made an excuse to go get lunch and left me alone in this scary building. I decided to do some investigating in this building. And then I found this weird looking square thing and another one of those creatures. It disappeared, but the square thing had a weird language on it that I couldn't understand. So I just left the building. I decided to ignore that for now because I have bigger things going on, because now I can afford the backpack upgrade. I went into Pierre's and I bought it immediately, and now I have way more inventory space. I remembered I have to open some geodes, so as I was heading there, I did dig in the trash and found a Joja Cola. So sadly, I really didn't have to buy from the Joja company. I could have just given this one to Haley, but that's okay. Inside the geodes, there was an orpiment and a single copper ore. I went to the library and I donated the orpiment and my quartz that I got from my mining adventure. Then after that, I decided to go to Pierre's and spend the rest of my gold on some seeds for the farm. Then after that, I went home and put the seeds in a chest so that I could plant them later, because today I had much bigger things to focus on. I really wanted to join the Adventurers Guild, and the quest said that I had to kill 10 slimes in the mine, so I immediately started heading over there. Luckily, when I got down in the mine, on level 11 there was a slime cave, so I ended up slaying a lot of slimes, and turns out I actually had another quest to kill 8 slimes. I'm not sure where this came from, but I completed it really fast, so that's good. My good luck didn't last for long because it turns out I'm actually really bad at combat. So, yeah, I did pass out in the mines. But luckily, the sweet old Linus found me and he saved me from my death. I will definitely have to repay him in some way. He is just too sweet. I did end up losing some cherry bombs and some slimes, But that's okay because I did find this combat book, which will hopefully come in handy later so I will never pass out again in the mines. I didn't get to finish the Adventurers Guild quest, but at least I finished Lewis's quest, which was to kill 8 slimes. I hope you didn't go through much trouble. I know it can be really hard to get that sticky slime out of your clothes. I've definitely ruined a good pair of pants trying to catch those little squirmers. Well, anyways, enjoy your reward. Yeah, I definitely didn't get into any trouble whatsoever. I did end up getting 480 gold from the quest, so that was great. I do hope that I can complete the Adventurers Guild quest one day, but for now, my energy is way too low, so I just decided to go home. And I did try eating something, but it didn't give me enough energy, so I just decided to go to bed for the day. My combat leveled up in the middle of the night, which was great, and then in the morning I checked the TV. It said that the spirits were very happy today, so that was great. And I checked the Queen of Sauce, and I ended up getting my first recipe for stir fry. I went outside and I watered all of my new plants, and then I noticed I had gotten a letter. My sources tell me you've been poking around inside the old community center. Why don't you pay me a visit? My chambers are west of the forest lake in the stone tower. I may have some information concerning your rat problem. M. Rasmodius Wizard. Oh, I'm guessing the rat problem are the tiny creatures I kept seeing in the community center. Maybe this wizard can teach me how to read that weird looking square thing in there. So I gathered my things and headed straight toward the west side of the forest lake. While I was heading over there, I saw this worm spot, so I dug it up and I ended up getting a star shirt. Wow, I actually didn't know that you could get clothing items from the worm spots. I tried it on and I looked pretty cool, but I decided to put on my overalls instead. As I continued on, I saw this wagon thing, and I decided to look what they were selling. Turns out everything is just way too expensive for me right now. Maybe later I'll be able to buy something, but for now, I decided to pass on everything. After that, I finally had made it to the gorgeous wizard tower, and I headed right inside. Ah, come in. I am Rasmodius, seeker of the arcane truths, mediary between physical and ethereal, master of the 7 elements, keeper of the sacred. You get the point. And you, Haley, the one whose arrival I have long foreseen. Here, I'd like to show you something. Behold! You've seen one before, haven't you? They call themselves the Junimos, mysterious spirits. I'm not sure why they've moved into the community center, but you have no reason to fear them. Hmm? You found a golden scroll written in an unknown language? Most interesting. Stay here. I'm going to see for myself. I'll return shortly. Hello? I found the note. The language is obscure, but I was able to decipher it. We, the Junimo, are happy to aid you. In return, we ask for gifts of the valley. If you are one with the forest, then you will see the true nature of this scroll. I love this game so much. One with the forest. What do they mean? Aha! Come here! My cauldron is bubbling with ingredients from the forest. Baby fern, moss grub, caramel top toadstool. Can you smell it? Here, drink up. Let the essence of the forest permeate your body. Oh, what is happening to me? I guess me and the wizard both got violently high and we started hallucinating green things and floating trees. After we tripped out for a little bit, the game returned to a black screen saying that I've gained the power of forest magic and I can now decipher the true meaning of the Junimo scrolls. After that very strange interaction, I decided to start heading home, and I also foraged a lot of spring onions on the way there. When I got home, I sold some of my forageables, which will come in handy in the next episode because hopefully I get a bunch of money from that. I was organizing my chest to get things for the Junimos because you can see what you need for the Junimos on this little scroll right here. Basically, I have to get a bunch of forageables and different things that come from the valley and donate to the Junimos like I do to the library. Each bundle that you fill on here will also give you a reward. So I eagerly grabbed what I needed and ran straight for the community center. I also grabbed extra of the items that I needed because I wanted to gift some of the villagers because I've been here for 1 week now, which is so exciting. I gave a leek to Harvey, which he surprisingly loved it. Then I tried to give a wild horseradish to Lewis. Turns out it was his birthday and he hated it. I feel so bad. I had no idea it was his birthday today. I should probably check the calendar more. I also saw Haley standing by the fountain. I gave her a daffodil and she loved it. I went into the community center with all of my things. Turns out I completed one bundle, and that was the spring foraging bundle. For completing that bundle, I ended up getting 30 spring seeds, which was amazing. After that, a whole bunch of other scrolls became available around the community center. One of the scrolls had a spring crops bundle, which I had to get more seeds for, so I headed straight toward Pierre's to buy some more seeds. I want to try to complete all of the community center bundles before year 2, but we'll just see how this goes. I planted my gorgeous new seeds and watered them. Then I wanted to give out some more gifts, so I gave a wild horseradish to Linus and a dandelion to Sebastian. After that, I went to the Stardew Saloon to play a little mini game of Journey of the Prairie King. I usually don't play this game, but I ended up making it to level 3, then I died. After that, I went back home. I did a ton of terraforming around my farm, and I got really tired, so I decided that it was time to go to sleep for the night. and thus ending the first episode of my Stardew Valley playthrough. I ended up making a lot of money during the night, so you'll just have to see what I do with all that money in the next episode. I really hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. Let me know down in the comments if you like Stardew Valley and if I should be making more videos with this. Also, if you have played before, let me know any tips and tricks because it will be greatly appreciated. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!